Hi, guys. Good morning. Wow. Welcome back. It's already Thursday. So I feel like I just did Super Bravo Tuesday with you guys, and we've had so many fun, exciting shows already this week, but they just keep rolling out. I didn't even realize until I sat down with Jason how busy our schedule is going to be, because now we're doing pre-records before every video and also doing a live for the ones who like to call in and kind of be a part of the conversation. So we're doubling our workload. We're getting settled in. And finally, because I had Wet Sock ask me what the name of our community is, I had Tasha K ask me what's the name of our community, and I had Shan right under my nose the whole time who said Adam's Angels. Now, I never really thought about it because I didn't know that you name your community. So I guess I'm just going to stick with Shan, and I appreciate that. And I'm going to name this community Adam's Angels. So thank you guys. I love you. We couldn't do this without you guys. You're the best. Now, with that being said, if you haven't already liked this video, make sure you like it. It helps tremendously. And also, I'm going to drop the link because, again, I already dropped a pre-recorded. So I want this to be a live conversation. That way we can all talk about it. And yeah, let me drop that and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Let's see. All right, guys. Link drop so you guys can start calling whenever you want, but I want to start off by recapping this episode. So, okay, we start off with Shannon and John talking, and honestly, I think they're really cute together. I don't necessarily think that Shannon needs to be on the OC anymore, but after cutting Vicky and Tamra, it makes sense that we kept her around. So Shannon has her whole modern day Brady bunch kind of getting ready for this housewarming party. Now, this might just be me, but I didn't really know that they threw housewarming parties for rented homes, but it's still your house and you want it to be a warm home. So I guess it makes sense until it doesn't at the end of this episode when everything goes awry. But we'll get to that part. And of course, I want to have that conversation with you guys because I want to know if you guys think Braunwyn's reaction was appropriate or if it was just over the top. But in true Housewives fashion, of course, we're probably going to get an over-the-top reaction because that's what we're watching it for, right? You guys are probably going to say no, but kind of. Okay, so Shannon is talking to John, and I think that this is making me like him a little bit more because the topic of Emily comes up. We know that Shannon and Emily, they're not best friends. Shannon is always like, where's fun Emily? Because Emily wants to know where's fun Shannon. Now, they've had this back and forth going for however many seasons Emily's been on at this point. And I don't mean to be mean, but I don't think Emily makes a great housewife. I don't love watching her, but that's not a bad thing. It just makes her more normal. That's what I always follow that with. But Shannon and Emily are trying to make new strides. So Shannon has a conversation with John about inviting her to her housewarming party. At the end of the day, all I have to say is we end up inviting Emily to the housewarming party. We don't have enough people to not invite Emily to the housewarming party, a part of the cast that really makes sense, to be honest with you. But moving on. So as we move on, we get to see a little bit more from Elizabeth Lynn Vargas, who I think we've all been waiting for. We all have, or we've heard that Elizabeth Lynn Vargas is going to come out of the gate swinging and she's going to be a big deal. Now, we haven't gotten that yet. And then I also heard that that's rumors. But this was interesting, this episode for me. So in this episode, when she sits down with Kelly and Gina and she's talking about her husband and going through her divorce and her current boyfriend, Jimmy, everything that she said, she like starts the conversation, but then says that she can't talk about it because she's on a gag order. Now, what I'm confused about is Sutton Stracke from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was so open to talking about everything, but she couldn't film with her kids. So she had her diamond pulled from her. But then we have Elizabeth Lynn Vargas, who, granted, she doesn't have any children, but she can't talk about her husband and she can't talk about her boyfriend. So how did we give her an orange? I don't know. Her personality is still great. And we just heard in the rumor mill that she's been battling some alcohol abuse as well. So she might kind of be right there with Braunwyn. They might form a friendship. Who knows? But as of right now, I'm just not necessarily understanding the dynamic. I think she's great, but if she can't talk, why is she on a reality show? That's just my only point. Actually, I'm going to bring up an opinion really quick before we keep moving on. Hi, Jamal.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning. Are you at work?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So Jamal, before we keep moving on through this episode, I'm curious, did you see that part about Elizabeth being on the gag order?
I think I went out on that part, but I did hear about it. So based on some of the things I've seen, her ex-husband's only worth of like $200 million, which is really, really cool. So he's not really a billionaire. But there must be something within their situation to where she can't talk about it. And I think Bravo had to know about this, otherwise they wouldn't have brought her on. I mean, I'm sure they did a background check.
Yeah, but then that's my thing too. Then how does she get past, like, if she can't talk about this, and this is obviously the only thing that we know about her is that she's filthy freaking rich. If we can't talk about that and how or where it comes from, and I know she's like, oh, don't worry, once the divorce is final, we'll have a big spill party. And sure, I'm excited about that. But in the meantime, are we just trying to, do you think Bravo's just seeing how she integrates with the group? Because they might know that that time is coming soon. Maybe we'll get to see that wild side of Elizabeth next season, and they're just trying to coax us into her.
I think that's part of it, but I think another part of it could be that her divorce proceedings may have been a part of this season, but maybe the latter part of the season. But since of COVID, it got cut short, so we won't see that. So I don't really think they will bring her on knowing this part of her situation. I have a feeling like maybe the reveal was supposed to be maybe episode 15 or 16, but since they had to cut down to 12, we won't get to see that. I think that scene was a setup for her later in the season, but they're not going to have it later in the season due to COVID.
Okay. And then when Gina starts talking about this whole hearing what Shannon supposedly said about her house, at first, I have to be honest with you. At first, I was like, maybe Shannon didn't say it. And then when they do the flashback of walking Shannon through the house, and she's like, I sort of with you, but let's play sort of devil's advocate. We know Bravo is messy and does not miss any opportunity to throw any housewife under the bus if it's going to make good TV. Showing Shannon saying what Braunwyn said, she said would make great TV. It would paint Shannon to be like kind of a, not a nice person. Right.
Why would they show her going through the house like, but not show that part? That makes no sense.
Well, but they're also saying, I'm going to bring up, we have another caller in the room. So actually I have a few, but I'm going to bring up just one more for right now, just so we don't get any mic flack, guys. And I promise I'll rotate everyone. Oh, oops, 1 second. Let me try to drop this link right. Okay. Hi, Shan.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Did you watch last night, Shan?
Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I totally watched last night, and I watched your pre-record, and yeah, I have lots to say.
Thanks. Oh, whoa. Okay, you have lots to say. You go first.
Now I can't hear.
You can't hear us? Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We'll bring her back. All right. So Jamal, moving on. I wanted to. Oh,
real quick.
Yeah.
I have a question. So the reason why I say what I said about the whole Shannon situation, remember how they used to do Tamara, and how when someone would say, "Well, Tamara said this," and she'd be like, "No, I didn't." And they would show those backflashes. So why wouldn't they do that to Shannon?
But only because whatever she supposedly said was off camera, right? Because she said it to Braunwyn when they were drinking.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like Shannon probably said it, but off camera. And with no receipts, Braunwyn looks crazy.
Right. Well, and then, it kind of looks crazy, but then we almost, like, for me, Braunwyn almost sucked me back in when she's like, for me, for the first time in my life, and sure, that was a little dramatic, but she's like, I see things clearer. And it's like, oh, she has a point. If she's the sober one and we've seen Shannon, she likes to throw back her shots. Maybe Braunwyn is not lying.
Oh, I totally agree. But here's where Braunwyn really went wrong. When she brought up, well, Sean was there too. Like, you know what? You lost all credibility because your husband's not going to side with your friend. He's going to side with the wife.
Well, and that's, of course, why Shannon flipped out, because she's like, are you kidding me? You're going to add a second party in here and gang up on me in my house? There's no way. And I agree with her on that. That you can't. That's like Shannon saying, well, let me bring John over here and say that it wasn't true. It's no.
And I'm mad with Braunwyn too, because Braunwyn, you're deflecting. When someone calls you out on the things you said, you don't bring someone else into it. You just like, you know what? Yeah, I said it. And that's it. Don't throw Shannon on the bus to get the heat off you. Don't do that.
Well, I think that she did that though, just for the simple fact that it gets the heat off of her. And also Shannon is I think Braunwyn can handle herself, but Shannon is a really strong personality, and she's not going to get up and usually storm off. I know that she did that one time at that kid's birthday party with Lydia or whatever, but Usually Shannon doesn't storm off without getting everything out. Whereas like Braunwyn, once it gets really heated, like when Gina called her a sloppy chihuahua, she freaked, she panicked, and she ran. So maybe that's why she was saying like, let's bring my husband over here, because it's a comfort zone for her.
Right. And then Shannon was shiesty with what she did. It was, I'm like, Shannon, don't do that. When like, who came over? It was Shannon, Braunwyn, and was it Emily? And she said like, tequila. I'm like,
no, that was Elizabeth.
Was Elizabeth? Okay. I'm like,
oh, that was so shady. I called that out in my
I
pre-record.
was like, oh.
That is the mark of that just screams somebody's character, only because she literally confided in you first. She told you first when you thought she was pregnant, she has an alcohol abuse problem, and you knew that, and you know that she likes tequila. So the first thing that you did,
I'm like, Shannon, I'm like, okay, I'm like, I get it, you're pissed, but you don't. Okay, I guess I felt like this is your house. So in that situation, you don't do that. Now I'm gonna get you later when we're not in my house at my party, but I'm not gonna like do that to you at my party.
Oh no. Shannon at that point, after Shannon wanted to, in my mind, and I'm gonna bring up some other people to see what they think too, but in my mind, I think Shannon was trying to see where she was going to stand with Gina first, because she's not going to be on the total outs. But then once Gina came into the house, and of course, in true producer fashion, they put Gina into the house first to face Shannon, and she comes in, and this is the worst thing you can do, or to be on the receiving end of it. Gina comes in killing with kindness. She's like, wow, your house is beautiful. This is amazing. Can we talk? And then at that point, what are you going to be mad when somebody's complimenting all of your work? And then when she sits down and she's like, look, Shannon, if you say you didn't do it, you didn't do it. That gave Shannon the green light to be like, okay, you're on my side. Braunwyn, it's on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I was watching this episode wasn't that bad. I'm just like, but this is what people grown-ups really fight about, because I'm the person like, if I said something about you, I just said it. You being mad is not going to change anything. I said it.
I honestly, and I always think it's fun watching a new housewife come in, because they really try to figure out their bearings and stuff. But Elizabeth seems to have a great sense of humor about all of this. But her poor tech boyfriend, Jimmy, who's sitting back like, this is a crap show. Like, what did you just get us involved in?
Right. Exactly. He won't be like a Rich Rock Keeley type and get in the mix. He's not gonna be that type of boyfriend or husband.
No.
He's gonna be like, what's going on here? I'm scared. He gives me that vibe. I'm really, really scared. What do people act like this? What's going on?
Yeah,
like, do you remember remember when Vicky used to call her what? Lizzie? Izzy? Lizzie?
Dizzy, yeah.
Yeah, Dizzy. And remember her boyfriend at first really didn't interject a whole lot. He was just kind of super chill.
Oh yeah, her husband Christian was very like,
husband, yeah.
I'm like, I'm not really. He's like, y'all are crazy. I'm not. Yeah, whatever. He's like, let me just get the alcohol and I'll be set. He's
right.
Like, you get the alcohol, the 3 kids. I got a lot going on.
Well, since we're talking about Elizabeth really quick, I'm curious, because obviously her and her husband, who are currently going through a divorce, have some sort of contractual agreement, whether it's obviously it's financial, but who knows how that's outlined. I mean, people with a lot of money, they can outline that crap however they want. They could honestly, he could say, if we get divorced, you get all the cars and that's all you get. You just really don't know how these things get structured. But she's very careful. She loves to say gag order, but she's very careful with saying, oh, Jimmy and I we don't go like get fully intimate because he wants to wait until I'm divorced. Well, how long have you guys been dating? Well, I can't talk about it. Do you feel like they actually do get fully intimate, and they probably do have a wild side, but she's not gonna lose her money and incriminate herself on national television?
I mean, I could see that, but then if she lies, it's perjury, which probably would kill her settlement. So I think what they do certain things, because I'm sorry, let's call a thing. There is no way you're going to lay next to someone. I think they've been dating for like supposedly 3 years. I heard somewhere. You're not laying next to somebody in the same bed for 3 years and nothing's going on. Just like remember when, I'm not sure if you're old enough to remember the whole Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, where they questioned him like, well, is it true Britney's a virgin? He's like, look, we sleep in the same bed every night. You figure it out. Same situation.
Okay. Well, with that being said, if you guys haven't already, make sure you like this video and let's bring up another caller. Hi, Dorit.
Hi, Jamal,
Hey,
Adam.
Dorit.
How are
I
you?
have to say, honey, snooze fest, a train wreck waiting to happen. And hopefully, this is the last season we're going to be tormented and having to watch this show.
Do you feel so?
Can
You're
you
calling
imagine?
Bravo to cancel OC?
Absolutely. But I heard a rumor that they're going to bring Tamara back.
I think, to be honest with you, and Jamal, I would love to hear your opinion, but I think the way that they show her in scenes, they've talked about her. Braunwyn has now posted photos with her again. I know this date so well, but October 8th. I think that they're kind of seeing like, maybe we should pay Tamara more than the friend role, because Tamara would have been great this season in all of this. She is she's an instigator.
And
Yeah.
you know, fighting over a statement that the condo is so sad. Who cares?
Right.
Honestly. I mean, what a stupid fight. I mean, make it intriguing.
Right. Well, but then again, it's like I felt the same way about Puppygate or Doggate or whatever in Beverly Hills. And this is kind of just as irrelevant and silly too. I did appreciate the fact though that Shannon had the ability to backtrack and be like, hey, we rent our houses. You own yours. It was like, nice backtrack, sister. Nice backtrack.
Oh yeah, well played, Shannon. Well played.
Yeah.
She's like, well, let me try to clean this up a little bit.
They all know how to do that. They all know how to flip the script, and almost like Emily said, and I'm curious, I'll start with you, Dorit. Did you see the end of the episode where Emily pointed out, I'm the one who called Braunwyn out for drinking, and then she weaponized it, and she's using it against all of us, and like, how did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
I fell asleep towards the end.
Oh no, you really, really are not.
I really did. I told you it was a snooze fest.
Jamal, did you see that part?
Oh, but yeah, I'm like, Emily, so you called her out as a friend, okay. So what do you want for that? My thing with Emily, what was your point? All she could have said, like, you know what, I think now Braunwyn's weaponizing her sobriety versus going like, well, I was the one who called her out. Like, okay, you're the one who did it. Like, what do you want, a prize? No, stop it. But I get what she's saying overall. Like, now Braunwyn's gonna use you. Well, I've been sober this whole time, so I remember absolutely everything. So what's gonna happen is down the road, while everyone else is drinking, something's gonna be said or happen. Then everyone's gonna be like, well, who said what? Blah blah blah. And Braunwyn, well, I was there. I was sober. I wasn't drinking, and this was what was said. I can see her. I can't see her using that against the other girls.
Exactly.
Why doesn't she just have a tape recorder with her and record everyone? Because she's the sober one.
Because that's why they didn't like when Peggy Sulahian kept doing that.
Oh yeah, they hated that.
Yeah, Peggy Sulahian, she kept doing that the whole time. She's like, I have it on record. I have it. I record everything. And they're like, what? Get her out of here. And I like Peggy, but no, I think that they're just like, okay, well, I don't know. I feel like with Bravo, again, I know that because I've seen it from behind the scenes. I know that the producers are in the wives' ears the whole time, and they'll stop mid-dinner and they'll say, no, you need to bring up this conversation, or this dinner is extremely boring. We need something going on.
Yep.
So who really knows what's happening behind the scenes? But what
they think this is exciting. This is interesting. What's wrong with these producers? Fire them also.
That's why they cut it to 12 episodes, though. Even when I brought on Steve from Faces by Bravo, who said he was going to try to call in today. He's on his way to Orange County. And I was like, no, it's okay. But I wanted to bring him on because he's friends with Braunwyn. And I was just curious. It's fun to get his point of view every once in a while. But he said that they cut from 20-something episodes, 24 or 22, whatever, to 12, not just because of COVID, but also because of lack of content. So it's a mix of both, which is a huge red flag.
Right.
I mean, when we getting Kelly off the show?
Honestly, I was just about to say Kelly is the only one. And I know, guys, I know that she says some really stupid stuff, but her walking in, the best part of me from last night was when she walks in and goes, oh, you're Shannon's dad, Big D Daddy from Cincinnati. I was like, no, she did not just say that.
I'm like, oh, why do you always do this? It's like you really want to give her the benefit of the doubt because she's great TV, but then you can't because she just says the most inappropriate thing. It's like, no,
right?
She's a loose cannon.
But she's borderline loose cannon though, because there's loose cannon like Brandy Glanville, who we just have to like actually put a gag order on and make sure like Bravo's like she is a liability. And then there's a loose cannon like Kelly Dodd, who teeters that fine line and she gives them the content, and then they probably have to pull her in a room and like, okay, tone it down a little bit.
That's
But
fair.
Right.
she shouldn't have had Rick Leventhal come to Orange County. She should have honestly tried to ditch Orange County and tried to go to New York, even though they don't do
I would have done that.
crossovers.
I would have done that. I would have left OC. It's a sinking ship. Sorry about that.
Do you think that Rick is going to be on the show?
Yeah.
He's already been on the show and he loves the camera time. He's very comfortable being on camera because he's an anchor. So to him, this is old hat.
I just don't know how much he's going to love having, like, if you guys have noticed and if you've been following, Kelly has been raking his ex through the mud. She posts Instagram posts and tweets about how just get a new life, get a new family. This isn't your family. Your stepdaughter hated you. She cut out your face from all the photos. Like, Kelly is ruthless.
It's because I'll be honest. The reason why she can get away with this, because there's no one on that show to just read her into a box and cremate her and keep it moving. There's not a strong enough personality to go against that.
Well, Heather Dubrow was kind of that personality originally. Heather Dubrow could hang because at the end of the day, she would go up to her $25 million mansion at the top of the hill and be like, this is below me.
But there's no one there now. Like when Heather was there, it was great because Heather could just like shade her and it would go over Kelly's head. She just didn't get it. But there's not.
Well,
there's
I don't know how much Rick is going to be able to interact with Kelly and her behavior, because I believe that he has a decency clause in his contract with the network.
So there can't.
He's got, a reputation to uphold.
He works for
He's
Fox?
a pretty nice guy. Yeah, he works for Fox News.
Okay.
But, they all have those clauses in there, and they may not like what they're seeing.
And that's true, too, because honestly, I mean, it goes with anything. If you, it's almost like, let's say an athlete, a pro athlete, when you get signed on a team, you still have to be an upstanding citizen when you are off of the field, because you're a role model and you've signed all of this. So you can't leave the field and be like, you know what, F this and screw this and do whatever you want, because now you're representing the team just like he's representing a network.
Yeah,
that's right, because his integrity will go down. People respect him. They think he's a nice guy. And they may not think that much of him if he goes on the show with his wife and acts like she acts. It's going to be a big problem for him.
But the thing is, though, he's already dating her, though. So, I mean, is it echo on your end?
It's a little bit of an echo.
But
Oh, go ahead, Dorit.
So, they're married now. So it's a different ball game. That's his wife. That's not his girlfriend.
Right.
So they'll look at it differently. And how is she going to interact with his colleagues? She going to go, hey, Big Dickie to everybody?
Yeah, she can. Oh, man. Though some people, sometimes opposites attract, and maybe that might be the charming side of her that they love. That he loves. He might just love the fact that she's this kind of loose cannon in a way. I don't know.
I don't know. This is what's going to be interesting to watch, Kelly and Rick.
And to see how this plays out.
Exactly.
No, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. And then real quick, Jamal, I'm just curious, as far as the kind of making the decision that and only because I saw in the comments yesterday and I was like, how are people ripping her for this? People are like, Kelly, that's so stupid. Why would you rent a home and you're sitting there like looking down at everybody else, but you don't even own your home? It's like, no, it makes sense that she's renting a home because the guy is coming all the way from New York. Why would she buy a house before he got there?
I totally agree. Why would she buy? I mean, just like if you're an athlete on a 2-year contract, why would you buy a house? You just rent to see where you're going to wind up.
Right.
And when if she were to pick a house when he got there and say, "Hey, babe, this is our house," it's like, well, no, we did not pick this house out, and you paid for it all with your money, so this is your house. So
Exactly.
I think renting is excellent because you never know. He doesn't know like exactly where he's going to work, the commute time, like her with Jolie. I mean, there's a lot to figure out. So renting is a very good strategy.
I agree. I'm going to add
I
another
agree.
caller in here. Guys, if you haven't already, we're almost at 200. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get more people in the room. How's it going, Hey Jay?
Hi, how is it going? Do you hear me
Good,
fine?
good.
Okay. I feel like the house thing, it is a slight to Gina because I guess she's representing like a working class person, which is
Right.
really not the premise of the show, but I guess that's where they're going with her. So it is a bit, I guess, offensive to the viewing audience that uses it as an escape when you're minimizing someone's, I don't know, 1,800 square foot house.
Right. But no, but my only rebuttal to that, Hey Jay, is that I think Jamal, you even said this before, that a lot of people who watch the Housewives, this was one of the biggest discrepancies with watching Leah on the Real Housewives of New York. Some people were mixed. Some people do not want to see a struggling housewife that is kind of like more relatable to the rest of us because we see that most of us in our normal everyday lives. They want to see the glitz, the glamour, the stuff that we're normally not going behind doors and seeing. And then other people feel like it's refreshing to have a little bit of a breakup in the monotony of the franchises.
I agree with you, Adam. I think the main difference with the situation between Gina and Leah are the franchises themselves. Leah came into a group of established women. The franchise was still doing pretty well. She owns her own company, so she had some stuff going for her. Where Gina came from New Jersey to OC. We don't know what does Gina actually do for work. Do we know what she does?
Gina, well, she was a stay-at-home wife.
Okay, so she didn't
She's
really
a
have
housewife.
okay, so she didn't have anything of her own, and Matt didn't seem like he was really raking in the coins like that.
Right.
So it's like you brought in a housewife, great, but there's no real like wealth there to really hold on to. So with Gina, you got kind of just like the stalker mom driving the kids to school, and like we kind of don't want to see that.
Boring.
Well, I'm going to bring it back
I'm not
here, as long as
disagreeing
we-
that Gina needs to get the boot. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Gina would make a great like 8-episode friend. Like she would be the
See,
perfect
that's the
person.
thing. She should have been the friend, not Tim.
Like if you want someone to meet you at Starbucks to have like the no foam fat-free latte while eating like a fat-free butter croissant, Gina is perfect. She can meet you on her way back home from dropping off the kids, but seeing her every episode is not something I need.
Well, hold on. Let's bring on another personality as long as we don't get any flack. Hi, Peter.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
All right. We have a new face. Welcome, Peter. So chime in, pick up wherever
Well,
you...
Gina's from Long Island.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I keep forgetting Long Island. Oh, yeah, why Jersey? I don't know.
Yeah,
why
you
I
always
hear
say
that.
Jersey, Jamal.
I always say Jersey with her.
Every episode, Jamal says
Gina from Jersey.
Gina from Jersey just works.
That's honestly, that goes to show how relevant Gina is to Jamal. Jamal, you got to pick up on this.
I'll get there. I just for some reason her accent that she gives me like that Jersey girl rough and tumble type of thing, and I like that about her, just not for this franchise.
There's a Teresa Giudice somewhere very offended by the fact that you just compared their accents, by the way. But go ahead, Peter.
I was, I'm like trying to like Braunwyn, but I think she was kind of messy with Shannon. With saying the whole thing about Gina with her house,
right?
And I don't remember her saying that, so I was like hoping like during the confessional that they would show like a clip of it, of Shannon saying that her house, that it was sad, that her house was sad.
So what they said was that this was actually a conversation that was when they weren't filming. They were just sitting there kind of drinking together. It was a private conversation. It was Shannon, Sean, and Braunwyn, and just the house came up. But Braunwyn wasn't drinking and Shannon was. Shannon slipped up and said, "Oh, the house is sad and depressing." But now, since there were no cameras, it's Braunwyn's word, who's the sober word, versus Shannon's word, who...
Well, it's a prerequisite to be on the Housewives. You have to be an alcoholic. So therefore, you cannot be responsible for what you say because you're not in your right mind. So, get over it.
Well, and I do have to say one thing that I actually I can confirm about Bravo is before every single filming, they actually do booze up the women. So, and it's not just Housewife. It's VPR, it's Southern Charm, it's all of it. They all get boozed up before they start filming because producers aren't idiots. They know what they're doing. They know once they start kind of getting that liquid courage. Like I was watching Southern Charm this morning last season, and they had this girl walk in, and she just came in guns blazing. I'm like, "Yep, she's drunk."
Hey, Adam.
Well, you know what they say: the truth comes out from babes and alcoholics.
Hey, Adam, real quick. So I saw JC's comment about Bethany when she came on, and that she didn't have anything. And he's absolutely right; she didn't. But we have to remember, Bethany was finished second on the Martha Stewart Apprentice, and she was trying to build her business. So there was something there with Bethany to work with that the production company liked, and she, what she did was, she really felt strongly about herself and what she could do with this platform, that she took such a low pay in order to not give Bravo any of her business, which is where the Bethany clause came from. So, yes, Gina and Bethany are both struggling at the beginning, but there was way more to Bethany than there is to Gina.
Well, and she had, actually, that's true. First, thank you, Hermione, so much. We love you and appreciate you. And also, too, yes, Bethany came on with a sense of direction. She was also a vegan chef before that was really a popular thing. She had different irons in the oven. I guess that's the way we can say it. Whereas like Gina totally came on. I actually reached out to Gina about 2 years ago when I first found out that she was a housewife, because I had a friend who was launching a product and I said, this might be your girl. And it was, I tried getting in contact with her before they actually premiered her on the season and we saw her for the first time. But once I know who the housewives are, or I know who's coming up, I like to reach out and kind of introduce myself right away to try to see what we can't form a connection, right? So when I reached out to her, she was like, "Oh, thank you. Right now, I'm getting a lot of offers. I wasn't really expecting this, but I think I'm gonna review all my offers and see what happens." And now since then, I haven't really seen her doing much. So I guess maybe there weren't that many offers, or she just is happy being in a relationship and a mom right now and a housewife.
I think that could be true, but I think when people know they're going to be on the Housewives, they're like, this is my big break. All these things may be coming their way, but they're not as big as they make them out to be. Because if they were truly as big and as you were hyping them, you would be doing more than what you're doing now. So,
but also everyone doesn't have a business sense. So
that's true too. That's true too.
But when people don't have business sense, but they're on TV,
we don't know what we're.
Yeah, typically they're either investing in someone else or they're a part of something. But Gina doesn't really seem to have the capital to do that. So it's like, well, what are you really doing? That's why I'm interested in. I want to see what Gina is actually doing, I guess.
If anything,
well, you know what? If she was marketable, there's always someone with money that'll back her up.
True.
That's true. Yeah. But I think, though, honestly, I feel like we can all agree with this. I think that when you become a housewife or you enter into the Bravo world and you know that you sign that contract and you're full-time in whatever franchise that you're entering in, you kind of probably feel like you got that golden Willy Wonka ticket. Like, holy cow, everyone's going to know who I am. I can launch a business now. My whole life is going to change. And it doesn't work like that for all the housewives. Some of them are duds. Like for Emily, thank God she had a job and a career. because if she didn't, Housewives wouldn't have done nothing for her.
Well, it kind of seems that
Absolutely.
Gina doesn't even fit into the franchise this season. So
Gina,
I-
I'm sure in my brain Gina works for Lil Pay. And
Mm.
so that is a reason to bring her back, and Emily's there and they're friends.
Mhm.
And I guess we're trying to like scale younger, and Gina, I guess she's young.
Right.
So, hey Jay, are you saying that Bravo got them on a 2-for-1 deal? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I
Is that
am.
what you're saying?
Absolutely.
They
That's
went,
what he's saying.
they went to grocery outlet. That's what we're talking about now. 2-for-1 coupon.
Absolutely.
Here y'all go.
KJ didn't actually technically use the word grocery outlet, but that's what he's saying.
Hey, you gotta call a thing a thing.
All right. Before we end up ending this, only because OC isn't really, there's not so much crazy stuff going on with it, and hopefully it does get better because we only have 9 episodes left, and this episode got a little bit better for me, but I just want to go around the room, and I'm going to start with Dorit first. Ladies first. I know, Dorit, you're not excited about this show, and I know you think it's a snooze fest, but if you did turn on your TV for any reason and OC was on, is there one thing that you would be excited to see from it, or one thing you would hope to see?
Well, as I said, I'd like to see the interaction between Kelly and Rick and what Rick is going to do. How he's going to show up.
Right.
That's what I'm interested in seeing.
And
Is
how
he
he
going
carries
to hold
himself?
back or is he going to let loose?
Okay. And then I'll go down to Peter.
I'd like to see more of the new housewife, Elizabeth.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of her and her interaction with Kelly Dodd. I thought it was actually kind of funny when they were sitting at dinner, her, Gina, and Gina asked about her ex-husband, and she said there's no clause. And in the confessional, Kelly's like, all she does is talk about her husband. So
I agree with Kelly on this, but Peter, really quick, since that's what you're looking forward to the most, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the conversation, but do you think that Elizabeth is just putting on in front of national television that she's not actually having intimate moments with her boyfriend Jimmy just to make sure that she protects that settlement that she's about to receive? Or do you feel like she's actually doesn't have that intimate relationship with her boyfriend Jimmy?
I kind of think it's too early to tell because you really haven't seen much interaction of Elizabeth. Right. So I'm still like on the basis of trying to get to know her.
Right.
You know, so I don't know yet.
Okay. And just to be fair, before we go into Hey Jade, there are some couples out there in relationships that they actually, they don't have a whole lot of intimacy. They're best friends and they are together. And that's just how some married couples or couples live their lives. So it's not unheard of. Hey Jay?
Okay, I want to see. I saw Braunwyn was somewhere, and they asked her to say something nice about Elizabeth, and she couldn't say anything. I want to see how that relationship kind of crashes and burns,
right,
and goes up into complete flames. Also, to answer the question that you asked, Peter, I have a hard time believing that Elizabeth, who is in the process of divorcing, isn't sexually intimate with her boyfriend.
Right.
To me, I just can't wrap my brain around it.
Right. No, that makes sense. Jamal?
For me, I want to see more of Emily because I think there's more there with her. I kind of like her when she's not with the group. If that makes sense, I think she's better with a castmate or 2 castmates at the most. When she's within the entire group, just something about her just is not there. I want to see Gina. I'm hoping Gina's relationship works out because I want to see her happy. She deserves it. I mean, to go through what she went through, I want to see her happy, and I want to see what she does in her day-to-day life. I want to see, like, well, what are you working on? Because I enjoy that part of the Housewives, like what they're working on. Even Luann's Cabaret, hey, you're doing something. Like, I like to see how the process goes. So I'm rooting for those 2 the most, I would say.
Okay. All right. And then just to kind of piggyback off of Dorit, to be honest with you, I'm really interested to see how Rick Leventhal integrates into the Real Housewives of Orange County. If he's going to let loose, I think that's a great point, Dorit, or if he's going to keep that kind of professional, calm, cool, collected Fox News anchor persona. But Only time will tell, so we will find out soon. And Dorit, Jamal, Peter, Hey Jay, I appreciate you guys calling in. Peter, thank you for calling in for the first time. And Hey Jay, you're a fresh face too. Jamal, Dorit, I always love when you guys call in.
All
Love
right.
you too. Have a great day. Bye,
Bye.
Jamal.
Everyone,
Bye,
bye.
Dorit. Bye, Peter.
Bye,
Peter.
guys. All right. All right, guys. Have a great day. And Grandma Scary, I vote for Adam's apples. Grandma Scary, I don't know if that's going to win the vote. And I have another caller in before we go. So I just want, it wouldn't be right if we don't let them talk. Hi, Jay.
Hey, Adam.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I was just gonna mess with Jamal, but he's gone. I was gonna pretend that I was his boss and say, Jamal, and I see you on YouTube all day long.
Oh no, he's gonna be like, you're not my boss. My boss is sitting right next to me, also on YouTube.
But anyhow, I enjoy your shows as always. Okay.
Oh, thank you for calling, Jay. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
All right, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video. It helps us tremendously. And this was a good show. I'm getting more into OC. I know that we're pulling teeth here because some of you guys don't love it. Some of you guys do love it. But we also have Southern Charm premiering tonight. So that's going to be big. I'm going to throw a pre-record up for you guys. And then also we're going to go live tomorrow. And we're going live with Pops because Pops is going to pop off on pop culture. So we have an exciting week ahead of us. Below Deck comes out next week. Salt Lake City comes out the week after that. We're going to get busier and busier, guys. So I can't wait. Oh, and I have another fun collab with coming up for you guys next week. I think you guys are going to be really excited about it. I don't feel like we disappoint with the collabs. I love doing them. I think that it's so much fun to work with other YouTubers. DJ Richie Sky was awesome. Wet Sock, Sherelle, Tasha K. I've just had so much fun. I really do. This feels like a community and a family. So just thank you guys. Love you guys.